cut some grass there. That's third cut. Whereas over there, he hasn't even done his first cut yet. And neither has John Hardesty. That's third cut silage in there. Because it is a fairly decent forecast this week. It's Tuesday today, and by next weekend there's sort of a suggestion of light rain at time. It's not ideal. Are they actually coming in and out here now? Oh, he's brought cattle out of there, I think. So it's quite good for doing second or even third cut silage. But here, see that field there on the right, that still looks okay. I must admit, I don't think that's too bad. And then there's this one here which looks poor, to say the least. It's gone all really stalky old stuff. Still be better than nothing. There's that one, we used to have that, we always used to graze that. But they have had quite decent haircuts off it. So anyway, that chap, he hasn't done any hay at all yet, which is a little bit concerning. Mr. Chippy's there. Put some marks along here. They were doing some sort of survey, presumably related to why it keeps subsiding. And look at the heather. It's I must admit, I haven't really been out for more than a week anywhere, because it's been so vile. It's been raining and horrible, and I didn't need to go anywhere, so I didn't. So the heather is looking pretty good. It just wants a few more warm, dry days, and it'll be quite a show. Because what happens if it keeps raining? Each stem has like dozens of individual flowers, and they open over a extended time period of at least a month. So if the weather is wet and horrible nearly every day, each individual flower doesn't last as long. It goes a bit brown and slimy and rots away, goes rotten. But if it's dry, each flower can be open for longer. That road is supposed to be closed, apparently. They never really say where or why it's closed, or what are they doing. But anyway, going back to the heather, anyway, if it's dry weather, and perhaps cool rather than too hot as well, because that would make them go over faster. You get a bigger build-up of colour. It's obviously rather subtle difference. But anyway, if it's constantly wet, it's not as good. And if it's very dry, sometimes it all goes over in no time at all, or much quicker. But in recent years, it's been very variable. I mean, it always was. It's nothing new. But there have been there was a particularly nasty year, one year we had oh, he's got a new Zeta in there. We had some sort of beetle were eating the shoots or the buds or something. Anyway, the plants sort of died back. They didn't die, but a lot of them looked really unwell, and it affected quite large areas, some more than others. So that was just really 1 or 2 years. One year was particularly bad, and the other year was not really. But since that, the recent years have been better again, and I think this is going to be quite a good year. I think it's often sort of sneaks up on you because the bell heather starts like in June really, and some areas like above Huttonley Hole, it makes a really good show. In fact, the bell heather, but it's nothing compared to the main stuff, which is just getting going now. What is it today? The 9th, 8th or 9th? I would say the glorious 12th is the traditional start of shooting season, grouse shooting, and that's more or less when it's just coming up to its peak, and it lasts for about a month. Although there's some colour right through September, but it kind of peaks through the second half of August and start of September. One year I'd flown my drone up Stockdale. That was a good year. I think it was 2017, I'm not sure. And the hills were just like a blaze of purple. It was amazing, really. Really good. Looks like Sam's doing his bloody slurry again. That's a chuffing big thing, isn't it? What it was, hardly. That's definitely Sam with his tanker. This fanny pants woman is doing in this mini Fiat. I'm going to have to overtake her. She's going to dither behind the tractor next. I should have done it before now, really. So Sam has got, I suppose he's buying slurry. Maybe the one's not rid of it, I don't know. But anyway, there's a pig farm at Lingdale, and he's carrying it over the hill. Well, initially it seems a bit ridiculous, but it's not that far, especially back to the farm at Commondale. So, yeah, that's definitely him. And it's obviously it's quite a good fertiliser value to it. It's a bouncy old thing, absolutely massive tyres on it. They had another one, I don't even know what it was, but it tipped over. It looks sort of unstable, doesn't it? Because the body of the tanker is really quite high. Imagine that. Well, a common problem with tankers in general is that when they're like half full, stuff sloshes about in them. So they can get a bit unstable. You must be able to see me here. There's nothing coming after this car coming up now. It's not Sam driving it, I don't know who it was, t'other fella, oh, why am I going to call him Charlie? Yesterday's name, I don't know who it is actually, that one. No, I couldn't say it, I know who it was. The cunts have been out again. I say there was 2 motorbikes and a scooter, or a moped or something, had been stolen from Commondale. I think it was Sunday night. And whoever it was caught on CCTV outside a garage, but I think that the garage they were outside wasn't the one they were stolen from. It was they just happened to have been caught there, mucking about, looking if they could get in here, I think. And as you might have expected, it was rather an anonymous tracksuit wearing type of lad. He had some sort of mask on his face, so you really couldn't recognise him. Although you might very well have recognised the tracksuit, because it was, well, to be fair, it was sort of grey, but there was like logos and things on it, you know, so somebody would recognise who that was. And can't go in 6:30. That almost certainly was involved in taking these two bikes. I should think they've ridden the bikes away, or who knows, or got them in a van. You just wonder, you know, if that was your CCTV caught that, what would you actually do? If you had a pickaxe angle, for example. I think the element of surprise and knowing the area, the location, like the back of your hand, and where the light switches are done, things were, could work in your favour, couldn't it? Because it's busy everywhere. Really peak holiday season now. In Guisborough, apparently Sainsbury's are having a major refit, so it's closed. So I mean the two primary supermarkets are arguably are Morrison's and Sainsbury's. So when that one's shut, one would imagine that Sainsbury's is going to be Morrison's is going to be extra busy, which won't be much fun. Although I would think on a weekday won't be that bad. It's Tuesday today. We shall see. It's not the end of the world anyway. So I considered going somewhere different. I mean, for example, you could have gone to Whitby. It's not that much further. They have a big Sainsbury's there, but I'm not a huge Sainsbury's fan anyway. That's the point. Is that I'd rather go to Morrison's, but I'd be too busy or more busy. The worst thing might be you might not get parked in it. But I think since it was quite well known they were going to be shut, people will go to Asda and they won't come to Guisborough at all. So it might not be, you just can't say it, because everyone will be thinking more or less the same as me, won't they? Sainsbury's is hardly the highlight of Guisborough, but the plus point of it is there's always plenty of parking. Very, very rare you can't get parked. Well, I've never known not be able to get parked there. And the parking spaces are quite generous. Whereas Morrison's is the exact opposite. There's hardly enough at all and they're tight as hell. And awkwardly laid out. Oh, I should have said I was going to have initially running a different camera. This is the Action 4 which has just come out, and I've got one quite early on in it, and I'm very pleased with it so far. It's everything the Action 3 should have been, which ultimately was a bit disappointing, to be honest. Although it had its plus points, notably very good battery life. I found the colours on it a bit strange, and I did have the issue of it not really being in focus where you wanted it. So I adjusted it, and in doing that I accidentally scratched the lens. So there was always that sort of downside to it. But this one, it's excellent. It's a different sensor in it, it's bigger. And I don't know if that's really the main reason it's better, but it's a lot better. And honestly, I had I had a bit of footage from it late yesterday in quite low light, and you would have struggled to see the difference between what's coming out of it superficially and a really good camera such as the Sony A7 IV or something. Although when you looked at it like at 100%, you could see that wasn't really true, but the overall impression at first is extremely good. Whereas with the Action 3 you were making excuses for it, frankly, from quite early on. Do you know, I was forgetting it's supposed to be market day today. Well, there's some plus points to that. The worst thing is reduced parking again.